it's kind of crazy to try to chat on the phone interface because you've got the video logged in. I get it. All right. So kit maker Tamiya has introduced the new 1/16 scale U.S. main battle tank M1A2 Abrams. Trumpeter also has a 1/16 scale version of this out. There's a big price difference, which probably a lot of people that's the biggest conversational topic. I did an unboxing video with Ernie G on this, and yeah, well, it didn't go so well. It went fine when we did it, but this morning, or late yesterday, I was having computer problems. Apparently I had a drive that had an old operating system drive at one point, but the operating system had been removed, but still had all the recovery things and various stuff. So I was trying to fix that because my drives got confused, and in the process of fixing it, I actually formatted it. I actually formatted the wrong drive, actually. I meant to format that drive, but I formatted my media drive, which was where all my videos were, and it's not actually most of all my videos, and maybe a few game saves and game files and things like that. But my long story short, yeah, I lost all my video for that unboxing on Saturday that we did of this kit. So I've decided to go ahead and try this as a way to unbox and maybe, well, not maybe, but definitely start building the kit, because I've wanted to build one of these 1/16 scale kits for a while. I kept the Type 10 Tamiya release, but I kind of got stubborn and dug my feet on that one because of the potential paint schemes and such. I don't like the current paint schemes. Japanese people, please make new camouflage patterns for your Type 10. Anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and start looking at this. I actually have already removed it out of the box. We're up to 5 people. Yay! All right, so 5 people. Start chatting. I'll go ahead and start with the obvious bits first. The upper hull. Upper hull is in one solid, excellently made piece here. It does have the side skirts on it, but it does have a driver's hatch, which the Trumpeter kit does not have. Probably I'm going to be doing that through the whole thing. So with this configuration, you will be able to maybe show it open with a driver figure or something like that. And again, some of these considerations are for RC, because this is going to be an RC kit. Can somebody just let me know if the audio is okay? Seriously, somebody just stick in the chat section there. Audio good, whatever. I just want to know that you can hear me okay and such, because I can't hear myself, so that's kind of the issue. We're up to like 8 people now. Great. So the back deck, the texturing they have on here, the anti-slip texturing, all very nice, very Tamiya-esque quality going on. They've got the tie downs in a down position. Essentially, they flip up and down, and these are something, obviously, if you were really being detailed, maybe putting stowage on here or something, you'd want to scrape these off and put on your own little aftermarket or scratch built pieces. The lower hull, as with the Type 10, is the aluminum, bended aluminum hull. Now, this is going to be at some point an RC kit, so that's why this one has this type of build to it. It's going to obviously make it very sturdy in terms of the running gear, and actually making it fully usable or mobile if you wanted to make working running gear. But yeah, it's very nice. There are going to be some issues. There's some small gaps here. I'm not quite sure how. I don't think Tamiya has anything in the manual like how to fix these. There's a very prominent one here. I'll actually use my microscope. Although I just realized I'm going to have to try to. Yeah, see, I have to try. I'll have to adjust the magnification, or the why isn't that is not working? That is frozen. Oh wait, no, it isn't. Okay, it just took a while for the delay to kick in. So yeah, actually you can kind of see it there already. So there's a fairly that's very large showing up. I mean, here's my finger as reference. Gotta wait for it again. Sorry. The limits of technology. There's still some limits. We are dealing with limits here. Oh, come on. That is a really long delay. Why am I getting such a long delay? I told the stream not to delay, and that seems like I'm getting a longer delay than what the normal 5 to 8 seconds is. Actually, okay, I'm not pointed in the right place. So it's going to be kind of hard with this thing, because it's definitely zoomed in really far. But you did see it there for a while. It was on the screen. Oh, there it goes. It's going back to it. I'm going to move it away now. So yeah, that gap is there. I guess you could probably fill it with some kind of Bondo or metal filler. I believe there are some pieces that go on the front here, that plastic pieces that will essentially go back to my regular. That will be where the tow hook mounts are and stuff. So I know there are probably some things that go on the front here. I need to figure out what those are. Just by unboxing it, I didn't quite gather that information. Alright, so let me just grab a bunch of plastic here. We'll go ahead and do the upper turret next. Upper turret, again, nice non-slip surfacing here. They've got some configuration options for the back. The commander's cupola and the cupola, sorry, commander's cupola. I finally figured out the right way to pronounce it, or it was told the right way to pronounce it in terms of a medieval pronunciation. The combat identification panels are actually molded onto the front of the hull, so that's kind of interesting that they are basically just on there. But they are raised, so that's correct. There are some connection points in here for, again, the RC. There's going to be, well, there definitely will be a tiltable barrel, but eventually, obviously, there's motorization options and all sorts of stuff, and they had to build some of that in here. So the lower bit for the turret goes right in there. You can see it going together. There are very nice detailed weld marks on the bottom of this. They definitely did not skimp on detail for the bottom of the turret itself. I mean, parts you're really not going to see. I suppose if you rotate the turret around in certain directions, you'd be able to look up at them. But yeah, very nicely done. And kind of just stick that off there to the side as we're showing stuff. Let me get to some of the other, like this is the rear panel, I believe, that's going to go over. Well, actually, the metal isn't there at the end, so that's going to be at the back of the tank to cover up the hole in the aluminum hull, as well as this piece, obviously, going along the back, which is the engine coolant area. And again, lots of nice little details on the side armor. There's that little braided cable. I'm not sure what it is. Looks kind of like a grab handle, but it's in a very odd position. I guess it's for some kind of utility function, and that's molded in here separately. They didn't try to mold that on the piece. The commander's cupola is obviously going to have glass that goes into here, and it's very, very nicely done as well. There's a very small ring here. Let me see if I can get that on the thing, because this ring has very, very fine detail. Let's see if I can lay it here and then just get the Microsoft to catch up. This delay is going to kill me, though. If I had a live screen, there we go. So yeah, there's a nice little. I'm not sure where that piece is being used. It must be maybe it's where this piece, the larger piece for the commander's cupola is going to set into. So I'm not really sure how that integrates totally. All right, well, going on here. Oh, good, thanks. Sorry, guys, I saw those comments a little late because obviously I've gotten now into the looking and the unboxing part of this, but appreciate that. So, Roadwheels, obviously there are a lot of these parts. There's going to be a lot of gluing on, or not gluing on, but actually screwing in a lot of these parts to the metal frame. So you can see they've made these connection points for the suspension that are going to go on to the aluminum, and I believe those screw on via little actual bolts here, so replicating the real detail that would be on the real tank. And then continue on that theme here, deal with the road wheels and some of the parts. So some of these parts are going to indeed be metal. So like the suspension arms are metal, and they look pretty good. Kind of hold it up to this camera. I'm not sure. Let me get a look here. Again, I have to wait for the stupid delay. But once I get used to all this stuff, I'll know what works, what doesn't work, kind of thing. Just like with the microscope, which I see I moved my piece there, but yeah. So these are they're. I'm trying to think of what metal they are. I guess they're pewter. They're like a white pewter or something, or maybe they're white brass. But yeah, same thing with these wheels. Now, Ernie did point out something very, very smart, very intelligent on our unboxing video, and that is that you can see on this is the exposed drive sprocket. that'll be visible. And you can see I think he said there's supposed to be holes in various parts of these, but that was going to weaken it, maybe so that it couldn't be made as a metal part. So he said probably you could go ahead and knock these out and do it yourself, but obviously maybe an aftermarket piece for this would be the other option that'll probably pop up. But whether I think he said he could even do it in metal, but a different kind. So anyways, you can see these actually just fit together, and they have a locking mechanism there. So yeah, the tracks, the suspension, the road wheels. I mean, the road wheels are plastic, but a lot of the other parts are metal. And that is because, just like with the Type 10, the tracks are all done for you. They are basically the most beautiful tracks in the existence of tracks. Sorry, catching up the comments. Yeah, there's actual rubber on these. So, you know, they are metal tracks. They have pins, and, you know, just like normal plastic ones that are individual track links. You can see the pin placement. They will flex and turn or whatever, just like the real things do. Yeah, they've got rubber actually pads on each of the parts where the rubber pads normally are. So yeah, in terms of scale tracks, these are beautiful. Now, I did mention something with him on the unboxing, which I think is true. I believe, if you especially look at the box art, but I'll have to look at some actual reference photos to be sure. But these tracks are usually kind of the metal portions are painted out, or, you know, they're actually the unworn parts, or the parts that don't get worn off, are essentially like painted the same color as the tank. I'm not sure what the rubber is put on after the fact, or maybe the rubber, maybe they actually, you know, the rubber just wears off the paint. But usually you can see from the side that the rubber is still black. But again, you have to look at the box illustration. Let me actually put it up here just for reference. You can see, like here, that they're showing the rubber really chipped, and then you can see the actual links, metal portions of each link is kind of painted out a desert beige color. So, and that makes sense from the standpoint of, obviously these parts are probably painted to prevent rust and various things that are going to be painted, and the parts that wear together, obviously that paint or the primer or whatever they're using is actually going to get worn off. But not all those parts rub together, so hopefully that caught. So that got on screen. There's a lot of glare there. Apologies. All right, next, what do we want to look at? Okay, so for the road wheels, there's another part that goes on them, and that is a rubber outer skin. So each road wheel is going to get its rubber skin in actual rubber as well, which is going to make for pretty quiet running, I would imagine. Just, you know, if you keep it, you know, mobile and you want to actually run the tracks. These center sections pull out or pop out or cut out. They're just some rubber, obviously, holding those in place. In fact, I'll just pull one out because I'm going to make it. So yeah, so you can see they just come apart really easily. And then there's an actual groove in the center which matches the groove that are on the wheels themselves. So let's go ahead and clip one off. Let's actually put one together and see how it comes out. What do I want to clip with? Not those. Not those. We'll clip with these. So let's see. I believe it's just going to slip over. There's a small seam line in the middle of the rubber. Well, that fit on there super easy. There's a small seam line that running along the middle of the rubber, but, you know, to be fair, the real thing probably has a seam line just like our real new tires do. If you wanted to kind of abrade them down or sand them, if it was an issue on maybe one of the more exposed wheels, you could probably do that pretty easily. But yeah, again, another great, you know, once you paint these, you throw the rubber back on them, and they're going to be easy to deal with, not difficult at all. But you will want to probably paint them all before putting them together. I'm not sure how easy it'll be to take them off either. And it looks like there are going to be, you know, essentially mounting screws for each of the wheels going on. So that's kind of interesting too, just in terms of the way they work. All right, what else do we want to cover? Went over those pieces. The rear stowage bustle, I think, isn't it? something like that, is very nicely molded. It has these little small kind of ring things, which I assume are like tie downs. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'll put them on the microscope. Make sure the focus is focused. You can kind of see them on the larger view, but actually, that pretty much is perfect. Let me just move it slightly. But yeah, you can see some nice molding detail there with those pieces, and that's pretty much true for the whole kit. Just a lot of attention to detail here. And I know you're going to get people who are saying, "Oh yeah, this is just the 35th scale kit upsized." Yeah, I don't think so, because it's easy to downsize a CAD design to smaller scale. Well, not easy, because sometimes you have to make decisions about, you can't replicate that in X scale or whatever. So I tend to think that they probably are. They start out as the same CAD design, but then they add on details that just the ones that make sense and so forth. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but the clear, as I said, there's the parts for the commander's cupola that are kind of separate. There's the front piece, I guess, and then these other pieces that are going to insert. There are clear for the road for the headlights and lights. There's additional clear up over here, which I'm not sure. That might be for some of the FLIR elements and electronics and stuff. Believe, anyways. What does that leave? A couple of really big things. The barrel. The barrel is this beautiful aluminum turned barrel. It does have what's interesting about the clear. I forgot to cover that. The clear actually has the tip of the barrel with the sighting element in clear as well, and Ernie told me that probably the reason they did that was because I believe there's like a coloration to it or something, red or blue or something, and that could easily be obviously made to look real in terms of a lens or something that is for the sighting element. So yeah, that the end of the barrel is actually molded in clear, and then this is the pivot point, I think. So this is the point at which the this piece, the whatever that thing's called that sticks around the barrel, that goes on around that point, and there's a whole gun, not internal detail, but essentially like kind of a counterbalance for this. So probably it makes it easier to move in position if you want to. And that is all right here. So you can see some of that. Essentially, this is again part of what will be the RC portion of it. In fact, there's a brass piece that goes into this, like this. Turn it over. Actually, probably I'm missing a piece, but this piece is going to actually be either for this direction. I'm not sure, but we wondered why, and there actually is something that like runs up against this as a wheel, so that it'll actually essentially be able to not wear, and it's going to be very, very precise and so forth. So interesting, heavy brass piece. And it could again be part of the counterweight for the barrel as well. Probably why they did it. So another piece that goes, this piece goes actually in the center of the turret, and again part of the mountings here and so forth for the gun and other aspects of the turret, but more for RC than for static. And then getting back to this piece, which obviously has a lot of the external weapons. You've got the M50 up here, which is in two pieces, but with a barrel in one piece, and it's actually hollowed out a bit. Both the 30 cal and the 50 cal are hollowed out a bit, and so you have essentially the rear gun portion going together to create one piece. Now I wasn't sure what this was. Is this part of an antenna mounting or something? And yeah, there's the actual mount for the 50 cal, I think, and the handle slash lever cocking system. And then the 30 cal is the same way, basically, with the second piece going around the back there. Here's the drivers. Here's that driver's hatch. Actually, this is, I think, is that the whole thing? Yeah, I guess it's the whole thing. So again, lots of glass going to go in front of here, and the hinge is actually there too, so you'd be able to show it hinged open if you wanted to. Smoke dischargers. I'm not sure how these work in terms of the real thing, but obviously they go down X distance I'm guessing you'd probably paint those out. There's no like hatches in there. I mean, if they're actually smoke canisters in there, are they that deep? I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to look at a reference picture for. Some small hatches here and various parts going on. I think the turret, and that covers that piece, I guess. So the turret itself, again, due to the RC thing, has all this essentially gear-driven system in it. There's a couple of duplicated parts here, but clearly there's a lot of complexity to how the turret is going to go on and how it's going to then rotate and such. But yeah, that was interesting because we were looking at the turret and it wasn't quite going in the way that a normal model, has a fitted system there. So that just leaves some photo etch. So you can't complain on this Tamiya kit. There is photo etch, and it's mostly for some grill work. Very fine mesh grills here, and then some larger. I'm not sure if that's part of the bustle or I don't know where that actually is going. It's not the rear. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can take a look at the instructions though. Maybe it'll clear some of this stuff up. And then of course, in terms of actual assembly, besides that brass piece I showed you, there's some rubber sticky tape here, rubber material. There's all these screws and connection bits that are going to go on for the suspension mostly. Some long kind of pin. Actually, they're not pins. They're like I'm not sure what those are. They're like hooks, and they have hooks on each side. So interesting. We'll look in the instructions and see where those are going. So where are those instructions? Over here. Decal sheet, there's just the one here, and there's not a lot of complex details. This is an April 2003 Iraq deployed unit in terms of the markings and the time period and the M1A2 that it is. I think it was in April 2003. So F24 is the marking on this one, and I thought there was a second option here, but maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe you changed the number. Maybe it's F2 and F4. Yeah, that's what it is, not F24. That would make more sense. They do include a reference little bit here, as they usually do, and it does have a color. I can get that too. Those are the torsion bars. Okay. It does have the F2, F4 variants here, and these are 4th Platoon. F4 is 4th Platoon, F Company, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment, Iraq, April 2003, and the other one is 2nd Platoon, F Company, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Armored. So essentially, 2 units in 2 different platoons, basically, and yeah, not a lot of complex paint work, although Ernie did note that the Tamiya paint TS46 that they do indicate here is actually only available in aerosol can. So not that there wouldn't be a lot of different bottle paint options for somebody who definitely wanted to airbrush it. There would, I'm sure, be some other colors out there. So let's take a quick gander at the instructions. You can see on here, let me see if I can, maybe I'll try to get something. I don't want to move that camera because I don't know what effect that's going to have, but let me see if I can get the instructions up here closer at least. So you can see right off there's going to be a lot of work on the lower hull and suspension items. They are showing this piece going up here. I think that's mostly as a connection support piece for the front of the hull. It's probably in plastic. And then immediately they're going on to these, the plates for the suspension. Those are being screwed in. And then these are the backer pieces, I think, that are going behind them, I want to say. And then, of course, each of those goes on. Actually, why does it seem like they're repeating unless they're just showing? Attaching suspension mounts. This is a thinking pause. I'm thinking. When they show those two in the same, it looks like the same diagram, other than the fact that they're, I guess they're just showing the reverse side. Yeah, they're just showing the other side, which is interesting. I guess each one maybe has a certain way you need to do each side. I guess I'm not sure why they would show both sides reversed. And then, of course, they go into those torsion bar suspension arm thingies, and the road wheels with the rubber going on, and I guess there's a small insert piece here, and then they go together, so each one is 2 wheels essentially, obviously. And they're showing the main inner and outer sprockets here. Those have a piece that goes in between them. And again, this is probably some metal piece here that goes through, and I think it has a, what do you call the things that clip on? They're not, that's not a, I'm thinking cotter pin, but that's not right. It's like a cotter ring. Wait, here we go. E-ring. Yeah, an E-ring. That's, I've run across them before, but in automotive parts. So yeah, here's the, what are they calling it? Oh, here we go. Attaching road wheels. The, yeah, so they do connect between, essentially there's like, those parts are like holding them together. I suppose for, well, I suppose just for the way they've designed it to work. But there must be obviously a reason for that in terms of just the way they function. All right, so I mean, usually in a static kit they are kind of static, torsion bars, not real. In this case, they're actually seem to actually do what they probably do on the real thing, except they're just made a little differently because you don't see them on the inside. So, and then essentially finishing up the road wheels going on, and the rear idler wheel, and then the tracks go on. So essentially you'd have a functional lower hull by step 11 here. And it looks like they've got a special tool going on with almost like a bolt that's going on over the final bit. So yeah, very much probably as you would, well, not, you wouldn't put the real things on quite that way, but. And then we have the, I guess those are, this is the photo etch. Some of those grills going over the grills in the back here with the finer mesh, front toe hook / upper toe hook areas. There is actually a little small grab handle right here, which they made as a separate part. This side detail bit's going on here, and then we go into the driver's hatch, and again some of those lower hull details underneath the upper hull, underneath the upper hull. That, so there are these connection points going on, and those little small braided grab thingy looking things, which I'm not sure again what those are for, but they obviously have a specific purpose. Rear engine cooling section here with the rear taillights, and again some more lower part there covering up some of that area, and then the upper hull going on to the lower hull. So yeah, it's not well, I mean, other than the suspension and the the complexity of all this kind of RC stuff, it's not an incredibly complex kit. Obviously, even the normal 1/35th scale Abrams is not overly complex. It's just because it's very clean. So you can see parts of how that whole inner ring assembly is going together. Looks like they're showing 3 parts going together here before it obviously is connected to the plastic. And then they're showing obviously the lower section of the turret on the tank with the rings in place, and then they're putting on this middle section that goes on for mounting. And then part of these gun bits are going together. Again, the brass piece here, the barrel weight, but it does have something running up against it, so we did realize why they did it as such a fine machined part. Or does it? Actually, now I'm not seeing that. We saw it. I thought we saw it earlier, but now I don't see it in this drawing. Or is it part of the turret rotation? No, it doesn't look like it. I guess whatever R15, that would kind of depend on what that is, because that looks like it's going in against it, so I'm not sure. Again, those are things you would discover as you probably actually start putting the parts together. All right, then they show the upper turret, and by the way, if anybody has any questions about things, like I said, if you want to ask a question, I could go back. I am obviously not constantly looking excuse me, had to sneeze, looking at the comment section, but I will try to remember to go back and look at it every 10-20 seconds or so. Anyway, so turret going on, commander's cupola going together with the CITV unit there. I think that's a piece of clear they're showing, as well as all the clear they're showing here. And then the rangefinder unit also has some openable and closable doors, just like the Type 10 one did, I believe. And because I did build that in 1/48 scale, but just not in 1/16 yet. And then the older CIP panels on the side here going on. By the way, the little not sure. Oh, here, yeah, here they are. The small little corner pieces of the front CIP panels are here, I believe. They show them here now. I'm not sure if that. I've always thought they were kind of raised in real life, so I'm not sure if that gives you enough of a raised effect. But actually, no, are they here? Not sure. They're one of those two. All right, so continuing on, moving forward. You can see we're getting pretty much near the end. The rear bustle going together. Some of the other larger bits going onto the back. Is that an air conditioning unit? Is that what that is? The crosswind sensor. Sorry, crosswind sensor. Yeah, an air conditioning unit being mounted on the rear of a tank would be a little weird. I assume it has all internal. Any kind of air conditioning that it needs is all internal. But yeah, the crosswind sensor. Oh, that's what that is. The big pole thing. So is that also? Hold on. Yeah, also part of the crosswind sensor. Okay, so that must be a later added bit than not building it into the tank itself, but having it mounted on the outside. Seems like it would be have been a upgrade later on for the A2 maybe. So I just want to make sure my chat can actually see everything, because sometimes they get stuck. Okay, yeah, I am. So final bits going on, the guns, weapons, external weapons, and that's it. Ironically, they have a parts overlay here at the end. Of course, all parts are going to be used on this. Well, with the exception of, I don't know if there are any RC parts that aren't used. In fact, there are, I guess, a couple here not used. So literally, I take that back. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe parts that aren't used, but the rest are, I think everything on this side was used. Yeah, they don't even do the not used on this side. So, and then again, you see the array of screws and metal connection things that are going to be used quite a lot. In fact, it includes multiple different Allen wrenches. All right, well, that is pretty much covers the unboxing portion. So, question is, do I start building?